Hey guys, today I'll be showing you how to manage boho hair, that's the coily pieces, the human hair, how to manage them. If your client comes to you and they say, oh, I have a wig that I want to repurpose, and that's meaning I have a wig that I want to take out the coily hair and use it for boho, this is exactly what you do. You see how full it is? It's not actually full. Just keep watching to find out how I try to make this full and make her leave my salon in the best spirits ever, and her hair looking so nice. The hair is not as coily as it was in the beginning. When she bought the wig, it can't be that coily anymore, but we'll just make it work. So this is how we started. First, if I had known she was going to repurpose a wig, I would tell her not to. I will advise her to buy a fresh extension, a fresh coily piece to use for this style. But since she was already in my chair, that's when she brought it out. See the hair there? It's still very damp, but she's holding it. And then I asked my girl to take it and go try, see what she can do with it. And you can see how little it is. Anyway, it's a bit much in this video. I don't know how come, but it's less than 2 packs of hair, and it's actually 24 inches. So it's quite long, but it's not a lot. So we had to cut off the weft and everything else. So let me just show you how I parted her hair and how I was able to make this whole hairstyle work. Like I always start the hairstyle, I part the back out, which I have parted out, and then I go to the front. Not every time though. Then I start parting the back out just like that. But for this style, I had to cut out the front and know where I'm putting the weft that she brought, as in the coily pieces. So I had to part out the whole front, and then I held the back with a bond, and then I went in and cut the middle part. And that's what I'm trying to do now, and I'm trying to make it sharp. And actually I got it the first time, so it's sharp enough. And then I go on the sides and I go break it into 2, because I had already discussed with her she'll be doing small braids. So I decided to do 6 lines on top, and that means there'll be 3 lines on the one I'm holding and 3 lines on the one under. So I have to divide it into 2 so I know where the lines will be going through, so that everything is open to me like a map. So I go ahead and I bond that one, and then I also bond this other one after putting gel on the edges, on the parts I mean. So I brush it too, and then I put a bond on it. Then after that, I go on the other side and I do the same thing, which means right now there will be 6 coming from that side to this side, and then there will be 3 on the first one that I'm holding and 3 on the one under. And after I've put the gel in, I would use the comb to brush it. Probably I'll put the gel into the next one before I brush the gel in, and I'm doing that now. So right now, I'll now begin to pat it out now, and you'll see how many places I'll be patting it into. 3, obviously, into 3. So I'll map it out, pat it into 3, put gel in, and know that I know what I'm doing. Then I'll use a clip to hold it away and start. Why am I starting in front? It's because I believe she doesn't have enough of the coily pieces, and if she wants it as full as she wants it, I have to start in front, because if I start at the back and I put a lot of pieces at the back and then there's none for the top, it's a hopeless situation. So I would have to start in front and do the whole of the front first, the parts that I have parted out, and then see how many is left and manage the rest for the back. If it's a lot left as I'm going, I would add more. But if it is not, then I'll add less. So it's a win-win situation. You don't have to lose hair. Whichever way, we are going to do this style for the lady, and whichever way she's going home looking good. She wants a lot of curls in front, she's going to get a lot of curls in front. Then the back might be without curls, but the front would have to cover up the back. And that's what boho is about. Normally when I do boho, I don't concentrate the curls at the back, but the curls have to have some at the back. But with her own style, if I'm done with the top and then there's no more extension for the back, I think it's fine by her, because she doesn't have enough and she doesn't want to buy from me, because I also sell. I sell hair to my clients. I don't sell for people who are not coming to do their hair with me. I only provide hair for my clients. So she could have bought, but she said she doesn't have money and she's going away anyways. So she has put all her money into the trip, so she doesn't have enough money for the hairstyle. That's why she decided to take out her wig and use it for this style. And I even think she's intending on taking out this style and keeping the wig and keeping the coily pieces and reusing them next time. I don't have anyone who has done that, but she said she could, so let's hope she could. But I think, what's the use have so much patience to take out the hair and reuse it again? Why don't you just spend 150 to buy more? I believe if you work, you could get more money and buy more. But if you don't, well, you might want to reuse it again, and washing it will be crazy. It will be a problem. So, I don't know. Depends on you, or where you get your money from, or whatever. Let's just do her hair. And this is how I put the hair on the table. I'm using 25 inches. That means 50 inches in all. And I'm adding to the length. I'm not doing it 50 inches. I'm doing about 60 or so. I'm doing it to her waist. And actually, when a client tells me they want waist length, I try to make it a little bit longer than their waist, because it will be a problem if it is not as long as their waist. But if it is longer, it's never a problem for me or for the client. So I try to make it a little bit longer than they actually ask for. And this is how I do it on the table. I don't use that rack that everyone uses. I find that the rack is limiting, but this table can take enough hair that would fill up about 6 people's hair or more. And she'll do it like this. If I don't want this one, she'll put it on another table and do it again. So let me show you how I'm doing her extension that she brought in. I would open the whole thing on the table and straighten it out, possibly comb it if I have the time. But if I don't, I have to straighten it all out. Then I just use the scissors to cut off the weft. She has already cut the weft from the wig and washed it before combing. That's why it was damp in the beginning. So here I put it under the dryer and it's dry now. So there's still more under the dryer, but this one is dry. So I'll just cut the weft off and then try to wrap it up and give it to her, so she can give it to us when we are braiding. Because for me, I like the clients to hand the extension to me, because I can't do extension on a table. It's going to get all rumpled, and then I wouldn't get value for my money at the end of the day. If you know, you know. Because I actually am the one who provides all the hair for everyone. This client was just different. That's why she brought her own hair. She didn't have enough money to, I've already explained this. She didn't have enough money to get me fresh hair, so she decided to get her own hair. So you can see how I do it. I fold it up and then I try to cut it as close to the weft as possible, because we are not going to lose any inches on this. So we try to cut it as close to the weft as possible. She brought three bundles, but it's hardly even up to 2, because it's not even up to 1. It's not very much up to 1, because with one bundle, if you bring one bundle, it will be enough for your head, I'm guessing. But with hers, she has carried it on a wig, and she keeps combing the wig. Yeah, you can't ask her not to comb it, because she wants to use it for boho afterwards. So she kept combing it, and then they kept pulling out, and even when she washed it, some still pulled out, and she must have washed it about 3 times while she had it on, So all those wear and tear takes out the hair from the wig. So we have what we have, and we have to manage it. I'm done with the top, and I guess it's really falling on top. So we are going to have to manage the rest and put it at the back. And actually, I'm not going to put any coily pieces on this first line. Neither am I going to put on the next line, nor the next line. I think it was on the 5th line. That's where I put coily pieces, so they can cover up everything. But normally when I'm doing it, I don't put on the first line. From the 2nd line, I would most likely put 2 or 3. And then the 3rd line, 4 or 5. And then on the 6th line, on the 5th line, about 6 or 7. And then on the last line on her head, I put over 10, 12, 14, depending on how much of the curly hair that I have or that the client paid for, if I'm the one providing it. But when they bring theirs, I like to use a lot, because they brought it and they want to use it. So I just put it as much as I can. But if I'm doing mine, then that's how I do it, the way I do it. So I'm just trying to put her hair down to see if it looks good, if it will cover and everything else. And I think it would. So let's just keep going. I believe I'm done with the top, and I'm done with 2 lines, and there's no coily pieces on these 2 lines. And then I'll pat out the 3rd line now, and there will be no coily pieces on the 3rd line until the 5th line, I guess, because the amount of extension we have as at now is very, very little. I concentrated most of them on top so that she looks very good. So the coily hair is very few. So we have to calculate and know what we are doing going forward. and how little it would be on top. And actually I have picked the top. The top, I only pick it and then I leave it, and then my girl gets to finish it. That's how I braid. I hardly am the one picking and I'm the one finishing. It will take us several hours to do all that. So 2 people are on the head and then we finish nicely and quickly. So that's what we are doing now. And I'm still parting the 3rd line. So you see how neat it's trying to look, and I'm braiding the 3rd or the 4th line, and you can already see how full the top is, and then the back is pretty much straightforward. It's just on its own, just like that. It's without. You can see this long one that I'm doing. There's not a single curl on it. So that's how the last 3 lines are. I think the last 4 lines is on the 6th and 7th line. I added a few pieces on top so that the top will cover everything at the back. That's what I'm driving for. So let's see how it goes. Now I'm done and I'm putting mousse on her hair. Her whole hair is getting mousse, and I've rolled up the ends because the ends have to also be coiled. So I want them to be coily at the end so that it goes with the coil on the extension, the coily pieces on the extension, so that they all blend in. That's why I call the ends. So here I'm taking out the curls at the ends of the extension, and that particular curl is stuck, so I had to cut it off, and then it's coiled. It's coily at the ends now, so it's looking very beautiful, and I'll show you a close-up of the video. So this is exactly how to do it. If your curls are a few and then you're scared that it wouldn't be enough for the head, you just start in front, and then when you're done with the front, the back will be the back. The back will just take its shape from wherever it takes the shape from. You can see how the coily pieces are covering everything. That's how it will turn out. So she looks beautiful, it's beautiful, everything is beautiful, and everything looks good. I believe that the coily pieces, ooh, see the hair, ooh, this is beautiful. I'm adding oil, and that's something I always do. I like the health of my client's hair, so I'd always, can you see the back? There's nothing at the back, but the top is still very full. You see here, the back of her head towards the back, there's just a few coily pieces to cover that side up, so everything is just covered, just be covered. So it's the top that is covering everything. The top is the one carrying the boho that is covering everything. If you like, just like it. And this is what boho is about. Boho is not about under. Under hardly has any curl. Although if I were doing this hair and I had a lot of pieces of boho, I would put more pieces on the base. But since I don't, I'll have to work with what I had. So she looks good. It looks lovely. It looks beautiful. See the ends, see the tips. And then she said she would revamp it later. She will put more mousse, more products. There are some products you have to put in to make it really look coily. So her hair is just pretty much straight, or it's wavy, or it's loose waves, or whatever you want to call it. But she's looking holiday ready. She loved her hair, guys.